All right, I got it. Hello, 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 hello. Sean Brady, regular wine guy, and happy fun times on Vivino. I got my man J. Tom B. Gunter Sommelier extraordinaire out there in California. I'm here in the Midwest in St. Louis, and we are sipping on some Chilean reds. Now, for those of you who are interested in knowing about what's in our bottle, we're going to show you in a second because I didn't do any previews. Jay, did you do any previews for this one? I did
No,
not.
no, I did not this time. Sorry, guys. I was on a vacation. It was my 14-year anniversary with my lady, and I kind of got stuck in vacation mode. So it was hard for me to work and do everything while I was there, and I got told a bunch of times not to. So, yeah, sorry, no previews for this one, but I cannot wait to get into these Chilean wines with you and talk a little bit about like their history and why they're so important to the wine world, in my opinion. And yeah, if you've heard from me before, you know how much I love Chilean wines. It's just like it's my go-to for value, and I'm always looking for value. So
Jay
yeah,
wanted to skip the rest of South America altogether and just go to Chile.
I
I'm like,
did.
come on.
But then I forgot about Argentina and Uruguay, and I was like, okay, I like those places too and their wines too. But you're right, Chile has a sweet, like a little special part in my heart. I love them. So a little smart.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of love here, and there's a lot of good reason. I mean, it's just some amazing. As I was doing my research on this, I just found amazing details and things like that. And then as you and I were talking previously, it's like, whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Uh, so it's very cool stuff. So I say we just jump right into it. What do you think? Because I've been letting this sucker open up for a good half hour now, and I haven't even sipped it yet. But I've been nosing it the whole time, and I'm like, what? It keeps like, oh, it's so wonderful. Definitely let it breathe a little bit.
You're making me excited about what you're sipping on. Let us know.
I know, right? So are you ready? Here's what I got. Medalla Real. Gold medal, Singer Vineyard, Cabernet Sauvignon out of Maipo Valley. So this on the back of the bottle, and it's amazing. I didn't read this. First I will be totally transparent here. Here's how I picked this bottle. I was looking for something from Chile, and I wanted an attractive bottle, and I wanted a certain alcohol content because you know me, and that's kind of my MO, especially for a Cabernet. I love cabs. It's one of my favorite things, and I'm like, okay, I use my Vivino app, but before I even use the Vivino app, I go to the bottle first, and it caught my eye, and it had a 14% or greater alcohol content, and I didn't read the back of it because the print on it is really tiny and small, and I'm like, I can't read it in this light. I didn't read it until just now when I'm outside in much better lighting. And I found out that this wine back in 1987 won the worldwide Paris Olympics for cabs from all the other ones in the world. And one of their wine at the time took first place, and hence the gold medal, right? I had no idea. That brings you back to roots of, it's like, the oh gosh, what's the movie where America finally won the competition?
Oh, Bottle Shock.
Yes, thank you. I'm like going, so this is basically a Bottle Shock moment 20 years later, right? And I had no idea. It's like, I knew I liked Chilean wines. I certainly liked the price point. And on the nose, I've been getting, it just jumped out at me right away. Just the nice red raspberry, subtle plums. I love what you always say, cassis. It sounds so refined and debonair. But it is like, there is a kind of like a black currant, if you will, and just those, not quite jammy, but it's like, oh, there's these nice fruits going on in here, and it's been really milling out over the past 30-40 minutes here, and okay, I just got to get into it now.
Your thing, man.
The other thing I noticed that was really lovely on the nose, that was my first sip, was oak on the nose. Not like it's overpowering where it's like, I just got hit with a baseball bat made out of oak. not like that, but it's like, oh yeah, this was definitely aged well. Now this was a 2017,
Okay.
and as I did a little research, and I did not know this before, but Wine Enthusiast last year, 2020, this was number 11 in their overall 100 top wine buys, or well, let me get it right. Let me tell you exactly what it was. Number 11 Wine Enthusiast 100 in 2020.
Wow.
They rated it a 92, which
Wow.
is really, really up there. And once I tell you where I got it and the price point,
I was
maybe
just
I
about,
shouldn't say anything
that was
because
my,
you might. I don't know if I should say anything, Jay. I don't know if I should say anything. First, let's get into the palate. So it does have that nice dry essence of the oak. Not, again, not overpowering. If you like a little oak, you're going to like this a lot.
okay.
Mm. Definitely made for food. So yeah, it's calling for me to go make a steak right now. And one of the things we'll get into is cheese, because Jay started off. He's like, oh, it's like cheddar cheese would be perfect with this. So I'm like, oh, I have some cheddar cheese also from the place where I bought this wine from, which I will reveal in a moment. So just, yeah, those berries come through. It makes me want to eat steak. It makes me want to pair it with food, and just really have that nice charcuterie board with the bold cheeses. Forget it's like, oh, I want a mild cheese. No, not with this one. You can go with a nice aged cheese and be absolutely 110% happy. You're not going to kill either one of them. It's going to go well.
I love it.
So
on the palate, though, you said you're getting some black fruits too.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're getting. I'm getting plum. Even like the. Oh man, that's good. I want something meaty and juicy right now.
Is it like kind of a silky, or is it a little bit more like grainy? Like what's the texture like on that?
I'd say it's a medium bodied wine. From a texture standpoint, I really noticed the my mouth puckering, wanting for more. Not in a super acidic, like this acid and the tannin. So it's like going, oh, you want to eat food now, and what are you doing? Not feeding me. So that's what I'm getting off of this. I don't know a better way to describe that. How would you describe that?
No, that's exactly how I would describe it. It seems like it has like great, like it's finishing dry. It has great acid, making your mouth water. It's medium bodies, and that's probably why you're getting that red fruit. Normally, when you get a lot of red fruit, they tend to be more medium body red. I mean, cabs is not. When I get black and blue, they tend to be a little bit richer. This one seems like it's light on its feet, but still has a depth of flavor in the mid palate to the finish. Yeah, I mean, everything you said is exactly how I would put it. Like, yeah, silky, but dryness on the finish, making you want to get more food in your mouth because of that dryness and that acid on the finish. That's
now,
dope.
you mentioned having an aged cheese. I have an aged cheese as well, sharper cheddar, if you will, and wow, that just
they marry together very well.
Oh my gosh, it just melted on my taste buds, and it's like, oh, that was the perfect pairing.
Well, that's the thing with red. So people are always trying to figure out how to pair cheeses and wine. And a lot of times, sometimes red wines, depending on which cheese it is, can overpower that cheese. Cheddar is made specifically to deal with red wine, in my opinion. I mean, of course, there's a couple of white wines that you can drink with cheddar, but like an aged cheddar goes so well with like Bordeaux varietals, specifically Cabernet Sauvignon. It does well with Carmenere, which I'm gonna get into a little bit later in Chile. It does very well with Syrah, but like not the light on its feet Syrah, more of the complex depth, bigger body Syrahs go really, really well with cheddar. So yeah, man, you gotta hit it right on the head, bro. You definitely did.
All right, so tail of the tape.
Yeah,
because you want to know, I want to know, right? People out there, I know Jenny wants to know. She's like, yeah, Sean, I want to know too. So here's the deal on this guy. You know the place I love to shop, at the Costco.
At Costco?
$9.99.
Okay, I'm
Wine
going.
enthusiasts, wine enthusiasts had this bottle at $20. $20. And I'm like, that for retail. They had it for $10 a bottle. I'm gonna go back and get more because I didn't try any before this.
That's a must. That's a must. That's a half case at least for that.
I think I will, because I mean, for $10, that's going to go a long way, especially if you're a big, sharp, meaty food lover. If you like aged cheeses, absolute blue cheese. I'm thinking of, an aged cheddar. I got the Kerrygold cheddar that was on sale too, right? And it's like, you know what? Everybody sees it. Yeah, it's wonderful. If you like that cheese, you're going to like this wine with it, especially if you like a little oak. And I think you were talking about the Cabot cheese that you had that is fabulous and delicious. I love their cheese. I've been to their dairy and cheese tasting room, and oh man, it's great stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, $10. I would even say if you find this under $20, it's a wonderful buy for Chilean or any. If you like that style, wow, get it. Don't wait.
You just gave me an idea. I think I'm gonna the one place I have not been going to do wine shopping for my wine still of the week every week is Costco. And so that brings me back to one. I have to go back to Costco. It's been a while. I've always gone to other places like Safeways and grocery outlets and Total Wines and stuff like that. But Costco's a good one, and I just, for whatever reason, I've been reluctant to go. But it's been long enough. I think they'll welcome me with open arms, and I can have some fun there. So yeah,
they will appreciate not you only your membership, but you using your membership.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One more thing on Costco, and then I want to find out about your wine because you've been sniffing on that. I'm like, oh man, that looks pretty good. The one thing I'll say about Costco is I have found some wonderful buys. All through COVID. I think I got some wines they exclusively served in first class on certain airlines where they of course weren't moving that product and they had to just cycle out of things. So they were picking up some great lots of wine. And, I think they've always been bleeding edge, just like Trader Joe's and, other smart grocery stores where it's like, okay, here's our lane and we can get some good things here. And of course, Costco, when they buy it, they buy it up, and this is a wonderful buy.
I can't wait.
Wonderful find.
I'm putting that on my list for next week. Actually, I just put it on my list. I'm going to Costco. So
on my list, go to Costco, buy wine.
Go to Costco, buy wine.
Cheese, buy the wine and cheese. What you got in your glass, my man?
I guess it's my turn. Actually, I'll get into this in a second. Let me talk a little about Chile before I do that. Again, I love Chile. When I was a broke college student and I was looking for wines to experiment on and try out and didn't have the budget for California stuff, Chile was my go-to. If I wanted something big, bold, ripe, I would go to Chile. If I wanted something light on its feet, food friendly, I'd go to Chile. So it's one of my favorite places. Cool thing about Chile, they have about a little over 500 history in winemaking. Just like with they're kind of similar to the United States, where they're great for brought in by the Spanish originally, and so they definitely have a lot of ties to the Spanish with their grape, like the plantings of some of the grapes in their vineyards. And they shifted when the French became like the superpower in wine around the 1800s, and some root stocks were being brought over to Chile. They shifted over to more the French style of winemaking, these big, bold style of cabs and some of their varietals too. For example, one of my favorite varietals, Carmenere, originally comes from Bordeaux. But what happened was phylloxera hit in the mid 1800s, and when the phylloxera hit the root stocks or hit the plantings, it decimated a lot of European, a lot of French wine. And so what they did was when everything got ripped out and replanted, a couple of varietals could not be replanted, and Carmenere was one of them. And so what ended up happening was they got shipped over to Chile. Chile thought it was Merlot all the way up until 1980. So they didn't even know they had this mythical Bordeaux varietal that no one had seen in years right in their backyard. And so once they figured that out, now Carmenere is one of the biggest names out of Chile. one of the biggest like well-known grapes out of Chile, and it's actually originally a Bordeaux varietal. Today we're talking about a Cabernet Sauvignon because I got a Cab too, just like you, Sean. And Cab and Carmenere are the two biggest varietals that come out of this specific area, Male in Chile, and this is the Tierra Verdadera 2020. So this is very young Cabernet Sauvignon, and let me go ahead and put that so you guys can see it. You guys can see that. Okay, I think that works. And so, yeah, those are two of the varietals, the main varietals out of Male. But the cool thing about Male is it's at the top of like the southern part of Chile, right before you go into like really deep southern part of Chile, and they have a lot of different types of microclimates there. So they're now, although Cabernet and Carmenere are the big, most well-known and like I guess mostly planted in Male, varietals like Carignan are like kind of making a resurgence back. Basically, before, and I'm sorry, I'm getting to a little nerdy talk, but I'm gonna get it out there really quick and bring it back to the wine. I promise. Originally, when Chile was doing wines, they were talking about exporting, so it was all about the production. So you had these lower end basic wines that were coming out of Chile, and then there was no middle gap. It went right from this to all the way to like really exclusive high end wines. So the everyday wines for like, kind of like the medium, like still complex wines at a good price were not there. And that happened throughout all the way up to about the 1980s because of the they were making all their money in shipping. 1980s, they started going back to some of the original roots that they had, like Carignan and stuff like that. They started promoting those wines, the mission grape out there, Pais, which they call it. They started going back to these specific varietals so that they can build up the middle and the more complex without having to, make it cost so much money. So now this has become a really cool area, Chile, because not only do they have the wines that they export, they have the really complex, unique to Chile terroir, and you have the high-end wines too. So that's why I love Chile so much. Now bringing it back to the wine. Let's talk about the nose on this one. I'm sorry, I went into that. I get a little geeky when it comes to Chile, but I'm back.
You're allowed to get geeky, and I love it. I did have one wine question before you get into your wine.
Yes, sir.
So my wine question was: so you said the Carmenere was that was originally a Bordeaux that went to Spain.
No,
and so
it went directly to Chile.
It went directly to Chile. Okay, and then but they thought it was a Merlot. Now I remember for the longest time, going back to your the story there, where I remember a few decades back, where it's like, oh yeah, get a great cheap Chilean Merlot. Yeah. Well, that probably was that, because that's what they were like, oh, we thought it was Merlot, but I'm like, oh, and this tastes more like something bolder and more complex and neat.
Yeah, well, Carmenere is interesting because it's like an amalgamation of like a lot of these different Bordeaux varietals. It gets this is so before, when they were doing Carmenere, you get a little bit of like this green pepper thing, which I think derives from Cabernet Franc. If you taste some of those old school Cabernet Francs, you get that green pepper. The texture, the silky tannin texture that you're getting with it, I think that comes more from Merlot style, because Merlot tends to have a little bit more refined, silky style of texture when you're talking about Bordeaux out of Merlot. I mean, Merlot out of Bordeaux. And then like the boldness of the fruit, that's Cabernet Sauvignon all day. You're getting like these rich, deep, black and blue fruits. That's Cabernet Sauvignon all day. So I think Carmenere is kind of like a amalgamation of like these really distinct Bordeaux varietals, and that's why I love it so much. It's an amazing varietal. It's like used to be able to get one for so cheap, and now the price has gone up a little bit. It's still not crazy, but the price has definitely gone up on Carmenere because people love the varietal. It just does a lot of things. It's complex, it's food friendly, and it's bold when it needs to be. So I love it.
All right, get into that wine.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the nose on this beautiful, beautiful wine. On the nose, so I immediately get like kind of jammy black berries going on here. I'm getting a little bit of a kind of like a black raspberry thing too, like a dusty black raspberry here. There's a nutmeg component here. So it does show that it's been in the oak quite a bit. It's not overwhelming, but it's there. It lets you know it's a secondary, but it's almost teetering on the primary things jumping out of the glass for me. There's definitely like a just rain, wet soil thing going on too, which I normally get out of Bordeaux varietals. There's a bit of a white pepper here too. You remember those old school Smuckers jam? Like you know the smell of Smuckers jam or jelly. I'm getting that, but it's more on a black cherry side. So I'm definitely getting that too. So there's some jam going on here. Let's see if there's enough acid to contain this jam on the palate, because there's a lot of jam here. So this could definitely have some love handles. But let's see if the acid will trim it out and show that it's actually big and bold, but it has some structure here. So on the palate. This is light on its feet. It's medium body. The jam was just on the nose. This is more like perfectly wild berries and cherries. Perfectly ripe though too. Like not crazy at all. Well contained. The tannins are medium, not overwhelming at all. Very silky on the palate. Acid is medium. I like this wild black raspberry thing that's kicking in on the second quarter to the third. And then it kind of goes away, and then you get like this kind of herbal kick on the finish. Tastes a little bit more. I love this when I find this in wine. There's a kick of eucalyptus right there in the third quarter to the finish. And it happens sometimes in Cabernet Sauvignon. So when it's planted in certain places, it'll pop a little bit of like a eucalyptus kind of mint thing. I catch it a lot when I'm talking about Australian Cabernets in specific areas, but I'm catching it here. It's really cool. It's in the third quarter to the finish. It's like eucalyptus pop and it's gone. Really cool. Tastes a little bit more. It's very fleshy black cherries going on here too. This is a wonderful wine. I like it quite a bit. The reason I brought up cheddar earlier for food is because cheddar, cheese, and meat. Chile is known for all its food. Like they make outstanding food in Chile. But cheese and meats are their go-to. Their dairy stuff. They have really, really good cheeses. And because cheddar has, in the past, people have always asked me how do I pair it. I always say a red wine. This wine pairs amazing with this cheddar. This is the cheddar right here, where we're talking about the 1 year aged cheddar out of this Cabot. And this is just killing with this wine. Like it subdues some of that wild acid that I'm getting on the finish. It just it's a perfect palate cleanser on the finish. It's a beautiful wine with great texture. Highly recommend this wine. And yeah, you gotta get this wine. And like you said, pricing. Let's figure out what this is, where you can get it from. I got it from Grocery Outlet. If you have one close to you, go grab it. And it's $7.
What?
$7. So definitely worth the price. This is a case buy, easy a case buy. And this is, even though it's young, it's just a pop and pour. This is not an ageable Cabernet Sauvignon. This is one that's made to be like, let's just open it up right now and get down to it. So yeah, this is a wonderful wine. Highly recommend it. Try it with some cheddar. Yeah, definitely do this wine. This is a good wine.
On that point, that's a good sommelier question. How long? So when and how long should you hold that wine before you drink it? Right. So I noticed this is a 2017, and even wine enthusiast said it's like drink it now. So we're 20. That was 2020, a year ago. But they said now through 2024. So that's a good. That's a 5 to 7 year window, or 3 to 7 year window. For it's like, hey, drink it now. Is that true with most young wines like that? It's like
depends on where it's coming from and what the winemaker's trying to do, and also the grape too, because sometimes the grape, no matter what you do as a winemaker to make it soft or to make it easy drinking, it's like Nebbiolo, so out of Barolo, yeah, good luck on that. You're not going to be able to
just
kind of
doesn't do it.
you're not going to be able to subdue that. But yeah, it depends on what the winemaker's doing and what variety they're dealing with for a young wine. This cabs tend to can age forever, but this one specifically, because it's so light on its feet, there's acid enough to keep it to about 2026, and tannin structure to keep it to 2026. Even after that, you can probably drink it. It'll be quaffable. It'll be easy to drink. But this is not one that you want to sit down for 10 years, because it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna change that much in the bottle. I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't think it's gonna change that much in the bottle from now till 10 years from now. And that's what you want. You want the evolution of the wine. That's the whole idea of aging wine, is you want to see it change. If you've tried it originally when it came out of bottle or out of barrel, and then you let it sit for 10 years and go back to it, you want to see that evolution. You want to see all that bitterness and the tannins to have subsided, and all the disjointed like acid and fruit. You want that to be seamless now on the palate because you let it age for a certain amount of years. So
that makes a lot of sense. I have to say this one more thing. So after eating the cheese, and not on the palate, but on the nose, the one things I noticed while you were talking is I got this big whiff of vanilla, and then tobacco leaves, like cigars, a fresh rolled cigar ready to, before you light it up or anything like that. And that was just a lovely surprise. I'm like going, I don't necessarily want a cigar, but man, I really do love that aroma. Like that's one of, kind of like nosing the wine, nosing a cigar before you ever light it, right? Is one of the joys to me. And if you enjoy that sort of thing, I got those wonderful cigar leaves in there. So
cigars, the smell of cigars is like a warm blanket to me. It makes me feel at home. You know what I mean? Like I smell like I'm like walking down the street and somebody smoking a cigar on the street, and I'm just like, where are they at? Oh yeah, that's my tribe right there. Because I smoke cigars all the time. I had a cigar last night. I love cigars. So anyway,
there was a gentleman in the park who was going on it was a morning walk, but he had this wonderful cigar, and we're social distance and a good 20, 30 feet away, but man, I caught a whiff of that. I'm like going, I'm just gonna walk behind you. I'm not stalking you or nothing, but that smells lovely.
So yeah, this is a great wine, and I'm glad you had a good one. I'm definitely going to Costco. You guys who are watching this, keep on watching. We have so much more stuff to bring to you, wine related, food related. We have a lot of projects like on our own, but we also have a lot of things going on together. And so we want you guys to be a part of this community. So definitely when you see this on YouTube, like it, follow us. And yeah, man, we want to hear from you. We want those comments in our comment section. We want to get the DMs about wine related stuff. Any questions you have, if I don't know it, because no one knows everything. If he doesn't know it, because no one knows everything, we will get back to you with the right answer if we can find it. So definitely let's grow this community and continue to chime in with us.
And I got to say this, if you haven't grabbed your pack of 10 cookbooks yet, Grapes and Sand Publishing, oh my gosh, they are like going like gangbusters with the, say the name of the book.
It's a vibe, baby. It's a vibe is the name of the book.
It's a vibe. And it's, wonderful cookbook by, is it Transcontinental? I mean, he's all over the country for sure. I think he's at the chefs down in Miami right now. Just amazing stuff. So grab that cookbook. Don't worry, if you can't get it now and you don't want to buy 10 of them, you're not a retailer more. They are going to have a second printing because this first run is almost out.
Yeah, already.
But great stuff.
It's been crazy. So right now we're doing like pre-buys for this. And we're doing it to a point where you have to buy 10 or more books. And we thought it was just going to be like, maybe a few restaurants, a few vineyards would grab it. It's also like some people are buying it for like Christmas presents so they can send it out to people. But yeah, we've kind of gone through our first printing really fast. So just kind of stay tuned. We're going to have books available for buying, buying 1 or 2 copies soon for pre-buys, pre-sales. But yeah, check it out. It's called It's a Vibe. Tam is the chef. I'm the som, and we're doing a whole thing where it is a recipe, a couple bottles of wines that you compare with, and a record, an album that you can throw on while you're preparing the food. So we're really trying to
I
create
love it.
every recipe. So really want you to check it out. And yeah, man, thanks for mentioning that, Sean. I appreciate that, man. I'm
So
rocking
if
out.
you like to cook, if you like to drink wine, and you like to do a big night style with your friends with great music in the background, buy that book. It's a
Yes,
vibe.
agreed.
More ways than one.
I
So
appreciate that.
absolutely, we love to do this. We hope you love enjoying our content as well. So like us, follow us. We're not just on this channel, we're on multiple. And, like we always say, we're always doing fun stuff with food, with wine. We may never see you in person, but we'll always see you right here on social media. Thanks for watching. Cheers.